I'm just looking at the settings. Audio profile, auto, low, medium, high.
I've set high.
Okay. How do I set to ignore Billy?
Have you set it manually, like recording Billy and let's yeah, it's a possibility to do that.
I give her own microphone.
A separate one.
Yeah. And then she'll have her own track and I can delete it.
Wow.
No, honestly, every single episode she's managed to make a sound. It's I am actually just leaving in there for fun now. And when I recorded that thing for Rick, one of my lines had to be re-recorded because Billy was barking in the
He's very active.
She didn't get away with that.
Balakun, a bridge to Ukraine. Join the conversation at balakun.co.
Балакун – міст в Україну. Долучайтесь до наших розмов на www.balakun.co.
Please subscribe!
Hello, Ukrainians.
Hello, New Zealand. We have a sunny weather today.
Yeah, New Zealand, we have -10.
We have -10 and very sunny weather. And yesterday we had a thunderstorm with snow. It's very, very rare, but it happened.
Yeah, and we all thought that it was again missiles, but it was a thunder. We were very surprised.
Yeah, actually, many people were scared because they got used to the fact that all that frightening sound were some missiles striking, and this time it was nature. And actually, thunderstorm in winter is very, very rare. And all the Telegram channels were just texting, "No, don't fear, it's just a thunderstorm, it's just a thunder." We have this toast in Ukraine, like, let children not be afraid of this thunder after the Second World War. And now we totally get the meaning of this toast or a wish.
And again, we turn it into depression.
Why depression? It's just the reality. It's what we have to be aware of.
So, guys, tell me a little bit about your podcast because I am a newbie here.
Should we interview Yana today or just have a talk?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I want to talk about myself. I want to talk about myself.
Everyone likes to talk about themselves.
Yes.
What would you like to tell the English-speaking world?
Just accept everything what will happen after.
Guys, just enjoy the way Yana laughs. It's amazing.
Where are you from?
I'm from Dnipro region. It's central part of Ukraine, and I'm live on the bench of the river. What it was southern border of Crimean Khanate in 16th century. I don't know why you need this information.
Why did you join Balakun?
Oh, because I had like strong desire to learn English because I wanted to fight with foreigners freely without translation. And as you see, like my English becomes better and better.
Do you have a mentor now?
Yes, I have. It's Greg from South Africa. So
How's it going?
he sent me pictures when he spent his life on beach, and I sent him a picture of my dog and a snow because we share to each other what we have. He has an ocean, and I has a snow and as a dog.
Do you think it's hard to relate to people who are going through war?
When you understand that life is go on, like it's very weird reality when you woke up because of explosions, when you read all this news and you thank to God that you are alive this time, and then you just live your normal life. You just make a coffee, you do your work, you speak to your friends and like sharing pictures of your dog, and like it feels surreal, but it's actually how life is go on. It's life. It's how we live through these horrors, and maybe sharing pictures of our pets uh, keep us in the sense that behind the war we have a lot of things what makes us happy. Sometimes Ukrainians they speak freely what they're feeling, and sometimes these feelings are very strong, and it's maybe disturbed and maybe feel awkward, but I think that when you spend some times with Ukrainians, you already understand how Ukrainians reacts on different words, on different topics, and it's much easier. Like it's hard on the beginning of communication, and and for Ukrainians it's also hard because like it's you need to speak with person who don't have your experience, and you need to explain some of things what is for you is like actually common. Like okay, we have like explosions this morning, it's common for Ukrainians. But foreigners it's like and maybe you need time for relax. Yes, sometimes foreigners ask at us, maybe you need time for relax, maybe you need time to calm down.
And we don't have any time to relax. We have to text. We have to tweet many angry tweets. But we have to express our feelings. We don't have. We can just hold it in ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And you know, when you spend, for example, that's why I like Twitter so much, because I refuse to call it X. It's Twitter for me. And it's very important for me, because when I open it Twitter and see that people react in the same way as I react, for me it's like we have the same experience, we came on the same way, and for me it's important that we are together in our anger and in our pain, and actually the same madness we have in the Twitter when we watch football or watch Eurovision, and like we spend we spend all this together, and it gives very strong feelings of commons, that we are together, that we are society, that we are help to each other, that behind you is someone who feels the same way that you, and
It's just the feeling of
yeah,
unity,
yeah,
a feeling that you
I
belong,
looking for this
a feeling
word.
of that you are on the same page with others. And actually, as you told, Twitter helps a lot, and it helps a lot right now, like these days. And it helped a lot for me personally. It helped a lot on the first days of full-scale invasion, as much time. I just sat and scrolled Twitter and just updating it and reloading it, refreshing the page to see what's happening, what's going on, and there were so many tweets of a different kind, like so many news, and the majority of news, the majority of opinions, the majority of reflections of um, fellow Ukrainians just came from Twitter to me, and that was the point when I found hope that we are not occupied yet, we are not dead, we are not eliminated yet, we are alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're still here, and we are fighting, and we're together.
And actually, there was a very poor reception in the first day of full-scale invasion. Very poor reception of internet. It was lowered down, I believe, for enemies not to use it. And despite and Twitter was the only thing that loaded fast. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember then I sat with friends and read many analytics from Twitter and many perceptions from others, from some experts, from military guys. And there were no internal clashes that time. Everyone was were united.
And you know what I think? I think that that experience of unity will help to us in the future. I have this strong feeling that it will help, because such type of experience it's affect very deeply. I have this feelings. And as Vitalii said, like when full-scale invasion started, I personally I freeze it, because I react on the stress like opossum. I'm freezing. And when I saw how Ukrainians looking for ways to help Ukrainian army, and I understood that we have actually the ways to survive, and it helps me to unfreeze and move on because I saw reactions, I saw actions from another Ukrainians, and it helps me to understand that it is not the end. We're still here and we're still fighting.
News, what's in news?
My news is Ukraine has risen by 28 positions in the world passport ranking.
That's cool.
Ukraine passport holders can travel without a visa or without a visa upon arrival to 148 countries. The Ukrainian passport has been ranked 32nd in the International Passport Index ranking. This is stated on the website of Hanley and Partners, so it's Hanley Index. Ukraine is among the top 5 countries with the largest improvement in the ranking over the past 10 years, net overall increase of 21 positions. It moved up to more positions over the past year, the company said. Ukraine shares the 32nd position with Grenada and St. Lucia in the Caribbean. The first place is shared by France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Singapore, and Spain. Citizens of these countries can travel freely in 194 countries. And on contrary, in 2023, the Russian passport dropped 2 lines in the index and took 51st place between Georgia and Turkey. opening its holders visa-free entry to 190 destinations out of 227 existing ones. And over the past 10 years, the Russian passport has dropped 13 positions in ranking. So invading Ukraine can do harm to your traveling. Don't invade Ukraine.
News, what's in news?
We are talking this episode about Ukrainian YouTubers, and I know some of the more obvious ones who deliver content in English, such as Anna from Ukraine, Rick the Ukrainian, Operator Starsky. But I was wondering if you could tell us more about some of the Ukrainian YouTubers who deliver content that Ukrainians watch. For example, Sternenko.
This is the favorite blogger and activist that everyone is watching while having lunch. And there were some jokes on Twitter, like, we are waiting for Sternenko's episode when he tells not Вітаю вас, друзі, but смачного, друзі. Not welcome, friends, but bon appetit, friends. He was very famous for being a pro-Ukrainian activist in Odessa. He was famous for being a human rights defender and defender of his own, as he had there was an attack on him and he defended himself, and there were many trials. He was imprisoned, and many people came to office of president to defend him. And in that time, there was a very big resonance in society about him, and that made him more popular. And during the full-scale invasion, he is the advocate of FPV drones. He's the one who asks people to donate 4 drones, as FPV drones is the most efficient weapon in this phase of war.
I pick up only the channels that I watch regularly, and like when I saw a new video uploaded on this channel, like I watched it immediately. For example, it's Toronto television, especially the English sub channel, and it's first of all it helps me with English practicing because they speak on English, but they also to share Ukrainian opinions about some events, about some personalities, and I like them so much. And Toronto television, it's called Toronto, but it's actually in Ukraine. It's a very important challenge.
Yeah, there was the story of Toronto television goes as follows. There was a journalist, Roman Vintonyev, and he took the nickname as Michael Stur. He pretended that he was from Toronto, that he was from diaspora, and his first videos were about interviewing some politicians or some guys from government and asking them some controversial questions and asking them in a very sarcastic way. It started like 10 or even more years ago, like 12 years ago, I guess. And in some time, it grew to a big YouTube channel where they covered some news, and they took some news, very controversial news, something like depicting the episode of our news channels, and they were reviewing all the news stories to show that Ukrainians have to be media proficient. So they have to analyze data, analyze information, and be prepared that they were lied to, that there were some jeans news like depicting some politicians on their behalf and on their to their interests. And they made a great job that time.
And because of some of journalists on this Toronto television is actually political activists. They show for example, some protest in Ukraine from perspective of political activists, and we have this like a difference between how political protests in Ukraine describe it on state television and how and perception of Ukrainian protest from like Ukrainian social activity, social civil society. And we have such this story about painted doors to the office president president office. And it's actually shows that in Ukrainian political life we have very strong and influenced civil society. And yeah, they're great. But also I am actually a geek, and I spent a lot of time by watching anime and reading books and reading comic books, and that's why I follow on YouTube Geek Journal. And Geek Journal shows that you can't be behind politics. In Ukraine, you can be out of politics because even if you are just a geek who likes comic books, your geek life actually depends of the decision of some politician. For example, because of we have the law to protect Ukrainian language, we have more comic books on Ukrainian language because of this law. And it's like shows how geek life and political life have a lot of common moments. And he like this channel Geek Journal, it's just reviewing some movies, but also take a part in political life in Ukraine.
Yeah, but he's a bit biased. I can tell that he's more pro Poroshenko agenda. Like he's not that independent.
Maybe he was, but now he's like not in this way. He like more. He spent more time in fundraising money for Ukrainian armed forces. So now he changed his vector of actions. But also I watched a lot of young Ukrainian YouTubers because I like how they share their creativity. And I like watch a video from Kopika. She like my 20 years old girl, and I watched channel Kefirny, boy like 21 years old, and they show their opinion. They're reviewing some movies, and it's wonderful to see how many young Ukrainians want to be active in social sphere. And like they also not just make some funny videos who like really funny videos, but they also on their channels share information about fundraising money. They share information about some scandals in political life in Ukraine. And it's also important because like we have very, very important period of time in Ukraine, and we all should be уважні. I don't know how it's into English said.
Attentive.
Attentive. Attentive. Like we should pay attention to everything what happens in Ukraine, and even these young people made this work and share their opinion with their audience, and young people already know that what happens in Ukraine, and they are not living some parallel reality when when we didn't have war in Ukraine, for example. And I like it because sometimes I see like when I watch some foreigner channels, I see like they really live in some parallel reality which they created. And I'm glad that Ukrainian young people don't do that, and they try to be in the moment with their state, with their people.
What I wanted to add for the YouTube story of the Ukrainian YouTube, several years ago, we had that big problem with watching Russian YouTube.
Oh yeah.
It was like the deal with the conscience. Like we're having war for how much it was, 7 or 6 years at that time, and we still watch Russian YouTube as they are liberal.
In quotes, liberal in quotes.
Yeah, in quotes. They are against system. They are against Putin. They are against occupation of Crimea. They are against war. They are so good, and many of us watched it. Me myself, I also watched a lot of Russian channels, like not Russian propaganda, but hidden propaganda. It was very liberal. It was very interesting. They used much money to create those, but still they had that impact on our minds. And a couple years ago, there was a project named Manifest. I wanted to focus on it as it's a very great project. It has a catalog of YouTube channels, of Ukrainian YouTube channels, so you can find whatever channel you wish. Like English learnings, sign language, Polish language. It has military channels there, for gadgets, for household, for everything that you need. So it's totally they totally gathered everything that one needs to find an alternative for Russian channels. And many people claim that there is nothing to watch on Ukrainian YouTube, nothing interesting, nothing great. We'll go and watch dudes. So we'll go and watch that Russian interviews. They are against war. They are liberal, and so on and so forth. And that's. But this project just gives us an opportunity to find whatever you want. You don't have to Google much. You don't have to search much for information. The way they describe in their project, that Manifest is a community of authors of Ukrainian language content. The main idea is to spread Ukrainian language content and encourage its creation. We are constantly growing. The audience of social networks is increasing and the site is improving. So that's a really great project, and I hope that many people would switch from more people would switch from Russian channels to Ukrainian ones.
I want to add something, because like you mentioned the problem of consuming Russian informational products, and after full-scale invasion, a lot of Ukrainian channels on YouTube switched to Ukrainian language. And for example, I mentioned it one channel, Kopika. She had like a big audience, and she switched to Ukrainian. She lost all Russian audience, but now she become even bigger channel that she was before.
Me myself, I can name several. One of the tops of my list is Rahulivna. Uh, I think all Ukrainians have to watch at least 10 her videos. Like sometimes she's very hard on others, very hard on with her words, with her expressions. Not sweary. She doesn't use much of the swear words or something cruel. She's just very critical of many things. But to have a bit of common sense, one just has to watch at least 10 her videos. There are long videos, like an hour or so, and he just takes all the cultural and social events and depicts them in from the perspective of this common sense, of the critical understanding, of the historical understanding, on the cultural understanding, on literature understanding even. She has several channels. Her main one, her backup one, and the other one where she has some books to be read and to be just talked about. So she talks about books much, and she made a library actually of the children's books in Ukrainian. She made OCRs of those books to spread them. So you cannot find many of old books for children or even for just standard literature in any bookshops or libraries, as they could be rare. And she had an opportunity to make scan copies of them. So the thing that she does is just amazing, and she's maybe on the top of my list.
And she sometimes pick up so difficult topics that my butt is on fire. My срака горить.
Yeah. You cannot translate this. It's just an idiom.
Oh, for example, I like a video channel who name is Kilogram Cringy. First of all, I like the name. I like the name. It's a kilogram of cringe. Yes,
A kilo of cringe.
kilo of cringe. Yes, and she rewatched, for example, cartoons about Barbie, like and about this fairs winks, and it's very funny content. It's very silly, and I relax it when I watch it.
Not my cup of tea.
I like some silly shit.
And what about another the film reviewing channel, Fincher Kubrickum, Fincher of Kubrick,
Oh,
or Fincher by Kubrick?
it's intellectual.
It's very intellectual one.
It's very intellectual, but I not always have a power to. I'm not strong enough sometimes to watch it. But it's great. It's like quality of videos and information. It's like the highest. It's great. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's of a very high quality.
Yeah, but sometimes it's too much for me. Like I sometimes I just can't consume that type of information.
I think, on the contrary, for the Fincher of by Kubrick, you would like на пошуки грамоти, like searching for a bill,
Yeah.
something like that. Do you know that one?
I know, but I didn't watch anything of their videos.
Oh, it's a great one. I'll share a link with you. So it has very funny reviews on some Russian films, like the ones that were popular among Ukrainians like 5 or 10 years ago. Reviews for those New Year musicals that were
Mhm.
very popular in Ukraine, involving some famous people. I won't name them. I don't have to.
Yes, you don't have to, but we all know who are these people. But
Yeah.
I also remembered one wonderful channel about Ukrainian language. It's Ideya Alexandrovna.
I'm subscribed to here.
It's also a wonderful channel about Ukrainian language and about Ukrainian dialects.
She has such amazing voice. It's so soothing. It's so quiet. It's so
And she has some amazing cat.
yeah. Malibutka.
It's so fluffy and big, and like it's so calm. And I just waiting when video ends, and in the end she always show her cat.
It's like Geek Journal and Tyler Anderson shows Benjamin.
Yeah, and I just it's my favorite part of this video. But yeah, it's a very good channel, and I appreciate what she doing for Ukrainians, because a lot of Ukrainians has this beliefs that you can to express in Ukrainian some thoughts. For example, you can use cursed words in Ukrainian because Ukrainian language should be clear, and like this kind of stuff. And these channels like Vitalii and Ideya Alexandrina, they show that Ukrainian language capable to anything, and you can use swear words in Ukrainian also. It's okay, it's fine.
For those who cannot watch Ukrainian channels, so my best recommendation would be three ones. First one is the uh, channel Ukrainer.
Mhm,
The second one is Toronto TV, and the third one, Timothy Snyder's lectures
mhm,
on the history of Ukraine.
mhm.
I think he did just a great job with all that lectures. Even me as Ukrainian, as knowing Ukrainian history, I found some new perspective on Ukrainian history and found some new facts.
Mhm. And I very grateful to this channel because my English grows after I watched all these videos, because I learned new words to describe Ukrainian history, and it's all thanks to Timothy Snyder. And if you have opportunity to buy anything of his books, you should, because he write a lot of books about Ukrainian history. Timothy Snyder is big friend of Ukraine, like we often say it about him, is in this way.
Yeah, but let's not forget that he's not Ukrainian and he can help, but it's not for him to speak about Ukraine. It's for Ukrainians to speak about Ukraine.
Part of anti-colonial movement, because sometimes we need someone as advocate for advocacy. It's a very common thing for people who was colonized, and when like our voice have not the same weight as Russians' voices.
Yeah, and let's not forget about our other friend Paul Masaro, or like we call him Pavlo Masarenko.
Yes. the cutie one. But also we have small channels about Ukraine from Ukrainians in English. It's, for example, Anna from Ukraine, and she made video every day, and she just translate Ukrainian news, and sometimes she teach some Ukrainian words. So she also good on spreading information about Ukraine in English. Very good channel Animarodi. They made cartoon University of Chuparsky. It's almost the same vibe as Rick and Morty. And it's like have a great humor about students who studies on the University of Chuparsky. And they made this cartoon by themselves, and like I really recommended it to you because it's very good and very funny. And I watched this, and also I watched all cartoons about Pes Patron because no, we have cult of Pes Patron.
Come on.
Come on, yes. We can't to make some podcast without mentioning Pes Patron, the leader of our cult.
Balakun, a bridge to Ukraine. Join the conversation at balakun.co.